Cyclone Alfred is now an ex-tropical cyclone. It made landfall as a Category 1 system and is now sitting just off the coast as a tropical low. We had winds of upwards of 100 kilometres per hour last night. I think 107 was registered. And today we still have the potential for gale force winds to persist through the rest of the day. Lots of downed trees, lots of infrastructure damaged, as you would have seen earlier today, and a lot of damage to residential property as well. We have 134,661 properties without power at the moment. The crews are out and about. The prime focus at the moment is restoring power to the Gold Coast University Hospital and the John Flynn Hospital. Once John Flynn is restored, that will activate the airport as well. I understand there's a fair bit of work to do at the airport, checking things outside and inside, so they are not yet ready to accept passengers, but the airport will be operational once the power is restored to John Flynn. We had 283 millimetres of rain at Springbrook last night, which is a lot, but the outlook is better today. We're expecting possibly 100 to 200 millimetres of rain, whereas yesterday the estimate was much higher of 300 to 400 millimetres. Looks like Brisbane's going to get that now rather than the Gold Coast. We did have major riverine flooding overnight at both Currumbin and Tallabudgera, so that risk has decreased as well, and the major warning has been reduced to a watch and act. The 3 evacuation centres on the coast remain open. We had 122 evacuees last night. Unfortunately, 2 of our centres lost power, but work is being done in that space. We will be keeping the 3 open and looking at anything else that might become necessary. I mentioned that there was substantial damage to some residential properties, and at Labrador 25 people had to be evacuated. They were safely evacuated. We had another unfortunate incident where 4 people had to be taken to hospital with carbon monoxide poisoning. It seems that they were using a personal generator inside. And so my message to everyone is, if you have a generator, it needs to be appropriately ventilated and preferably outside. The people are fine, by the way, so that was good news. We've had requests for assistance with generator refuelling, and staff have been working on that. Another piece of good news is that there has not been any rescue required over the last 24 hours. So people were sheltering at home and were safe, and that's the best news that we could possibly have. But we do want to remind everyone that this is not over yet. There is still the potential for more rain than we expect. We want people to monitor the weather conditions, and if you need to be on the road, please drive to those conditions. We also have 150 signalised intersections out at the moment, and Energex is looking to get those fixed. They're prioritising the repairs, and they're sending people out to man those intersections wherever possible. We've had no further reports of damage to our lifeguard towers, which is good, but the beaches are still being hammered and remain closed. Please remember that the beaches are closed. Our officers are ready, that are already out and about assessing damage, and obviously engineering assessments are being made so that we can quickly get to work. The A-line has been assessed and the seawall, and there has been no further material damage overnight. That also is good news. Finally, Council's looking to open community centres and libraries where it's safe to do so, to allow community to visit, get a cup of tea or coffee, and charge their devices and any individual medical equipment that they may have. So the information about that, once it's organised, will immediately go up on the city dashboard, and we have told you frequently, Google City of Gold Coast dashboard, it'll take you to the link, and we'll make sure there's a prominent message about where you can charge your devices if necessary. Please continue to stay out of the water, off the beach, and away from waterways. Much of the beachside infrastructure has been compromised, so don't stand on a platform that looks safe. It may not be, and it may have lost its foundations. So that's about the summary, and I'm happy to take questions.
Can you just talk us through the warnings? Last night we had the shelter in place, staying indoors. What are residents expected to do right now and into the afternoon?
Right now, it's a matter of simply monitoring the conditions. We're not saying stay in place, only since the last briefing where we seem to have had an improved outlook. So now simply use your common sense, but still stay away from that damaged infrastructure and the beaches. But monitor the conditions. If you need to be on the roads, drive to the conditions. But bearing in mind there's 150 signalised intersections out, you're better off the road today if at all possible.
Donna, considering what was sort of predicted, have we sort of dodged a little bit of a bullet, or is it still pretty severe, the impacts across the city?
It's been the most unpredictable system. So yes, I think you're absolutely right. Brisbane is now going to get the aftermath that we were expecting here as the southernmost tip, but it has gone a little further north, and that's been a good thing for the Gold Coast.
Just with the erosion on the beach, what sort of clean-up effort, or how long is that sort of going to take moving forward for our beaches? When are they going to look how they used to?
It's going to take a while for sure. I don't know the full extent of the erosion, and we won't until we get through this next phase. So maybe by the end of tomorrow there'll be a clearer indication, because we should start to see an improvement on Monday. But yesterday it was 4 to 6 metres of escarpment all the way from Southport. I've seen a lot of vision this morning that indicates we've got some pretty extensive damage to our beachside infrastructure. So until the officers can assess that, I can't really give you a time frame.
Can I ask you about the Coomera treatment plant? I think that was operating with a generator. Is that one of the facilities that needs to be connected to power?
Absolutely, and it was mentioned at our 1 o'clock briefing that it would be treated as a priority.
There's no idea when that power would be restored to John Flynn at this point in the airport?
I believe Energex officers are on site and initially doing the assessment to find out what the problem is, hoping that it's something simple that they can rectify quickly.
Obviously we do have so many Gold Coasters right now across the city without power. What is your message to them? Obviously it's going to be such a long process to get it all restored.
Please try and stay patient. It's very extensive when you think of nearly 135,000 people impacted. The weather is still not really great for Energex workers to be on site, so there will be the need for some patience, and I hope that they have made arrangements for a lamp or for candles, and that we get through this safely, as has been the case so far.
We're good.
Thank you, everyone.